Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of 5 Things Learned. And today we're looking at 5 things that we learned from Manchester City's comeback. Another comeback, a 2-1 win at the Etihad over Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. It was lovely stuff. It was tense for a little bit, but we got the job done in the end. So I've got plenty to talk about in this video. Please do hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel, by the way. I'm pushing close to 65,000 now. It'd be good to get there very, very soon. Do it for me. It'd be wonderful to get there. And also, I want to play this very quick clip from the latest episode of the playlist over on 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐴 Sports, where we talk about players that have got something to prove, and maybe actually one of them is in this video talking about as well in this video that I've made today. But either way, here's a clip of me actually talking a little bit about a certain defender for a certain rival team. Is the question marks over Trent in terms of like his development? Because obviously he's great going forward. When should he start improving defensively? Because he was abysmal.
I don't think he will. It's the issue with him is
should he?
The fact that Jordan Henderson, he hasn't got worse at defending. He's doing what he's doing. He just hasn't got better. He just hasn't got Jordan Henderson covering for him all the time.
Well, we've got to look at the Southgate factor as well, haven't we?
Southgate never fancied him. Southgate never fancied him when he was brilliant, though.
He's obviously absolutely immense. I'm not going to deny that.
Southgate doesn't fancy him as well because the options are Kyle Walker and Reece James.
And he's not getting above them.
But do you think that's wrong?
No, I think they're better options.
What, you think both of those?
Both are better options. Yeah, I think Reece James is not as good as going forward, but he's very good and he's a better defender. And Kyle Walker is a better defender as well. I'm trying to be a Trent apologist. I see the mistakes and it frustrates me. But it is what it is. I've almost accepted that's just him now. What can he do going forward? That's all. I just accepted it. And Liverpool have accepted it. Hence why Liverpool have only bought in.
He's got to improve, though. He has to improve.
Will be really, really detrimental to your.
I agree.
If that philosophy that you said is replicated at the club,
here's an example. When Kyle Walker joined Man City, he was by far the least comfortable on the ball. He was. He was poor at it, but he was so good defensively, so much pace. Kyle Walker was an overlapping fullback, if everyone remembers when he first joined it. But you watch him as a footballer now, man. He's so comfortable on the ball because he's worked on his game. Every day is a school day, man. When you've got a teacher like Pep or a teacher like Klopp, and he has to improve. He just has to. You can't just be like, I'm good at that, but don't worry about it. I stand by it, man. I stand by it. That was actually filmed about 2 weeks ago before Trent really started to drop his performances. But I'm sorry, if you've got all the quality he's got and all the players around him and all the facilities and one of the best managers in the world, you have to get better, man. And I know Walker's been a little bit off recently with the ball at his feet, but last year or two, Walker absolutely made improvements in his game technically. So I stand by what I said in that video. And absolutely, he should get better. He should do. In my personal opinion, Trent has to improve to be taken fully seriously. I know he's a quality player, but he looks disinterested, absolutely disinterested. There's loads of players we talked about in that video, including our very own Jack Grealish. Head over to 𝐿𝐴𝐴 Sport now, click the link in the description below. There's a link to the video, there'll be a card on screen right now. Go back me up in the comments over there and let them know who you think has the most to prove this season in the Premier League, especially of the English talents, which is really, really interesting. Anyway, here's the first thing that I learned from this game yesterday. Well, I didn't learn anything, man. I didn't learn anything from this. I've just put Erling again, because yet again, Erling Haaland is just a freakishly ridiculous goal scorer, an incredibly entertaining man, full of charisma and brilliance, and he makes me laugh out loud. Take a deep breath. That's what he makes you do. Honestly, Haaland doesn't let you pause for breath. He's that brilliant. He's that wonderful. He's that enigmatic, that charismatic, and he is ours. I love him, man. I absolutely love him. He's changing Manchester City. Honestly, I swear, like, his brilliance is changing the perception of Manchester City even further. I really do think City are growing fast around the world at the moment. And you only got to look in the local park when you go for a walk and see all the City shirts there. Kids are wearing City shirts these days. And I tell you what, people like Erling Haaland are the reason why. He is a freak of nature. That man is a monster, an absolute athlete. And the goal, once again, that he scored, despite Dortmund doing the best to tie him down, to restrain, to tame that brilliance, was just one of pure marvel. It was absolutely ridiculous. Maybe Marvel superhero-esque abilities, actually. Honestly, I don't think there's another player in the world football who scores that goal right now. I think at one point when he connects the ball with his foot, he's actually about 6.5, 7 foot in the air. His foot is higher than the defender's head, higher than a centre back's head. It's quite remarkable that he manages to get that. It's absolutely nothing. Most attackers don't get anywhere near it and they just let it go and it sails out and it's seen as a bad cross. Erling Haaland makes bad crosses good. That is how good he is. And once again, he's won us a game that maybe we would not have won last season or the year before. Man City have found this gear. I know we did it against Aston Villa, we've done it recently, but you know what I'm saying? In generally, we found a way just to lump it in the box and let the big man do the good stuff. And that's what Erling Haaland does. He brings the X factor. Yet again, he's killed off a team. Yet again, he's been involved in a goal in a game. Every single game so far since the Community Shield. Unbelievable stuff. Did we see our best forwards yesterday? That's the second thing I want to talk about. When Guardiola wasn't happy with the performance, he brought on the cavalry, man. He's like, come on, get on. Julian, Phil, Bernardo, get on the pitch. And them buzzing around the man mountain that is Erling Haaland absolutely changed Manchester City's fortunes. It really did. Like, those three brought such a tenacity. That was 5'7" excellence right there, wasn't it? Julian Alvarez and Phil Foden and Bernardo, all slight but all terriers, all technically wonderful, all sharp and alive and alert. And you can't get the ball of him, and they buzz around and they've got an eye for goal and they work really hard, and it's just an absolute nightmare. And to me, that is what I see as our best forward line now. I do. I see those three buzzing around Erling Haaland. Maybe you play, I don't know, those two up front, Alvarez, maybe you find a way to get more on the pitch at the same time. Gundogan, De Bruyne, Bernardo, Alvarez, Foden. Do whatever it takes. But those, to me, are big game players, man. Maybe like a little bit of control with all of them on the pitch at the same time. But they are just remarkable footballers. And it was really notable for me that as soon as they came on the pitch, Manchester City's energy levels, they absolutely doubled. They doubled. We were alert. We were alive. We were moving. And we had width and we had ideas and creativity, which was unfortunately a stark contrast to what we saw for the previous 60-odd minutes with these two on the pitch, Mahrez and Grealish. Now, don't get me wrong, I think both are excellent footballers. But right now, there's a question mark about maybe both of them. But especially when they're pairing together. Look, I don't want to see it. I don't understand why he does it. Like, Guardiola doesn't think that's our best team. He doesn't. Look, anything that I see on the pitch, anything that you see on the pitch, Guardiola has already seen before, and I guarantee you, he understands it. He understands that playing that many inverted players isn't ideal, but he's doing it just to try and get away with it, because players have to be played every now and then for form, fitness, squad morale. You have to rest players, and you have to keep everyone happy. And sometimes you got to play players just so you can't play them. And that sounds really weird, but if you play everyone in your squad, and some of them are going to have a bad game, you can then justify not playing them. So it's almost like you have to give everyone a chance, because then you can choose with justifiable reasons who gets to go in the team, And I know that sounds really weird, but that's just part of managing the squad. And right now, Mahrez and Grealish, look, they were both pretty poor for different reasons. I am a little bit concerned about Mahrez. It could be that it's just early season rustiness, but he does stretch back into last season as well. Like, I feel like he's not had a good game for a long time now at a City shirt, genuinely. And Mahrez, the one thing that he probably didn't really need to lose was a little bit of pace or a little bit of sharpness or whatever, given his age, given that his game was already quite one-dimensional. I love Riyad, don't get me wrong. I think he's been excellent, and I've grown to Riyad an awful lot. I think when he first came, he used to keep the ball an awful lot, and he used to bug me a tiny bit because he wasn't Manchester City's style. But he learned and adapted, and I think overall he's been an excellent signing. But recently his form is it's worried me. It's worried me. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it's worried me because he used to be very one-dimensional. He is one-dimensional. And what I mean by that is he has one way of playing. It's essentially what we know. Get in, gets the ball, cuts in on his left foot, and he used to just beat people and shoot and score or assist or whatever. There isn't really another gear to his game, and that's fine if it works. But I feel like having lost potentially a slight yard of pace and a slight bit of sharpness, he can't get past defenders anymore, which makes him very, 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 very easy to defend against, potentially. And I'm worried if we're seeing age capped up to him a little bit here, which is a concern. Either way, when you've got two inverted wingers and inverted fullbacks, he just becomes a little bit predictable. And Jack as well. Look, he hasn't got age to worry about. He's exactly 10 years younger than me. Exactly, to the day, actually. He's 27 years old. I'm 37. Both had a birthday the weekend. Happy birthday, Jack, by the way, for Saturday. But at the moment, he's not really finding his best football. He's not at all. And he's struggling to beat people. I think he tried really hard last night. He kept trying to run at people and try and make things happen, but he couldn't get anything done. He just couldn't. And he kept shooting into the defender and whatever. And he looked frustrated when he came off. And look, I do wonder if his future is in midfield or as a second striker or, more central. Or maybe he needs an overlapping fullback, because whatever is happening, he's drifting into that same space that Cancelo takes up, that Bernardo, that Gundogan takes up. And it doesn't really work for him because he doesn't have the, he can't get past people and so on. And it's difficult with those two right now. For me, I want to see Foden and Alvarez and Bernardo out there. I just do. And that's not because I don't like these two. It's a serious question which needs a serious answer. We didn't learn this, but I want to raise it again. Man City right now are killers, man. They really are. Like, I love the mentality of this team. Like, when they get the slightest sense that there's a weakness, or when they smell blood, they're like a shark circling their victim. I love it. Their prey. And Man City have got this killer mentality right now that I can guarantee you absolutely terrifies our rivals. When you're on the pitch and you're trying to coast and you've got that goal lead, you must be absolutely terrified right now to concede a goal, to concede that equaliser, because what happens? These City players, they sense that fear, they sense the momentum, they seize the moment, and they go the rivals with a ruthlessness that's been absolutely it's been amplified by the arrival of Erling Haaland and of course of Julian Alvarez, but particularly Erling Haaland. Look, it must be so terrifying knowing that it doesn't matter how good you play, that they've got a 6'5" monster that you can just whip the cross in and you'll bulldoze your 6'2" centre-back out of the way and put it in the back of the net, then score another 2 in another 2 touches. Like, that to me is pure... It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare football scenario, but that's what Erling Haaland is. He is a nightmare, and he's ours. And Man City's killer mentality, it becomes a thing. It starts to win you games on its own. That fear factor starts to win you games, and that's where we're at now. This City side, look, you can question the performance yesterday, but you can't question their desire, their ability, and their mentality. They are phenomenally good. They are phenomenally good when they get the bit between their teeth, and their attitude is absolutely excellent. I've kind of gone for a really clumsy pun here. 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻𝐺 promise. Okay. I tried. Either way, it looks better written down than it does it said out loud. But I really wanted to basically talk about 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺 and Ake because I thought they both deserve the roses. They're both excellent yet again. I'm really happy that Ake got some minutes, got on the pitch, because his injury almost... I think it could have denied him a little bit of football, but Ake has been phenomenal over the past several months in the Manchester City shirt. He's really adapted to life at the Etihad. He's found his best form. He's such a calm influence at the back there. Once again, another leader as well has been signed. 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺, man. We've got Ruben Diaz, we've got Ake, we've got now 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺 as well. They all three of them are natural captains. They all captain teams and so on. And like, I really, really like what I've seen of 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺 so far. Like, he's fast, he's strong, alert, he's mature. He clearly fits this Manchester City side to perfection. He really does. Looks like a Guardiola defender that's been formed in a lab and just put on the pitch. And like, there's such signs of a burgeoning partnership between those two. That once again, you've got so many combinations of centre backs that you can play so many different formations. And look, there's no worries. Like, is there a better collection of centre-backs in world football than Ake, 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺, Diaz, Stones, Laporte? Absolutely blessed. It's wonderful. And there's so much promise there that you could play any of them. Stones and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺. I don't know, Ake and Laporte, Diaz and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺, Diaz and Stones, Laporte and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺. And I'm absolutely happy with it. Stones and Laporte. I'm so happy with any of those combinations. And that's crazy. Like, it's the best bunch of defenders I've ever seen. Definitely for Man City. Probably in the Premier League as well. It's ridiculously good. And it's wonderful to see them all looking so comfortable in a Manchester City shirt. Guys, they're the 5 things that I took from this game yesterday. It was good fun. Of course, there will be a preview tomorrow. Go watch a match reaction from last night if you want to. But either way, City, once again, they have a killer in their midst, and his name is Erling Haaland. And we have potentially what we could see our best forward line with Alvarez and Foden. There are question marks about Mahrez and Grealish's form at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you make of it. How impressed are you by Manchester City's killer instinct, and what do you make of that burgeoning collection of centre-backs that we've got with Ake, 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐺, Diaz, Stones, Laporte, and so on. Go watch that video that we talked about at the start, the latest episode of the playlist over on 888 Sport. It's in the link in the description below. Go support me over there in the channels and the comments as well. And of course, thank you to all the patrons currently scrolling down the side of the screen. Heroes, like button of this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another video in a bit.